Wat standvastigheid heet bij een koning, heet koppigheid bij een aap. What is perseverance in a king is seen as stubbornness in a monkey. And the beauty of this old Dutch saying is that it's about the exact same quality, perseverance and stubbornness. So what is the difference? The difference is the outcome. The problem is we don't know beforehand who's going to become a king or who's going to become a monkey. It's only afterwards that we assign the labels king or monkey. For every successful person, how many are there we don't know about? For every Thomas Edison, how many people have spent years in their attics persevering only to be forgotten? Wouldn't it be nice if we had the 3 steps to success? Or the 5 rules to happiness? We all want clarity. We all want to know, what do I need to do to become successful? What do I need to do to become happy? Well, and we love the successful people who stand up and give their clear ideas how to reach it. But the truth is, the harsh reality, there is no guaranteed path to success. There is no fixed way to happiness. And you know, we all love the people. So we have no rules. And let's take, for example, an old wisdom. From a very young age, I got the wisdom, and I think most of you did. The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first. Come on, Dennis, take it easy, prepare, etc. So we have this old wisdom. But we also learn from a very young age, a good start is half the work. 2 old wisdoms, both true, and both saying the exact opposite. So what to do? Or we can get advice, very good advice, which turns out disastrous. 37 years ago, my father was kidnapped. And for 7 long months, we were under a lot of pressure, a lot of tension, a lot of emotion, ransoms, what have you. And then after 7 months, we found out he was killed the very first day by a lone guy who had a family, and he knew I can't keep a hostage for a long time without being noticed. So he decided to kill him the first night, and he did. Why do I share this story with you? I share this story because my father did discuss the eventuality because of his position. Luckily, it doesn't happen often in the Netherlands. But he got advice. They said, if you get kidnapped and you can't get away in the first 10 seconds, cooperate. Cooperate because the kidnappers are very tense, and if you do something strange, they also might do something strange and harm you. And try to build a relationship. Because if you have a relation, they will be less likely to harm you. Later we found out my father did exactly that. He dutifully followed the instructions. He tried to chat with the kidnapper, tried to build a relationship, and it turned out the wrong way. He got exactly the wrong advice for that particular situation. So, here we are now. We have no 3 steps to success. We have old wisdoms, all true, saying the exact opposite. We can get advice from the experts, which most of the times are true, but in certain circumstances can be lethal. And I want you to realize this, how uncertain life really is. So think for yourself. You're in a particular situation, it might be very new to you or very particular. Take all the life experience you have till then. Think about the wisdoms you've been taught, about the rules. Think about your gut, your heart, what have you. And then make a decision. That's the best thing you can do at that moment, and act. So what am I doing here? Because I don't have the 3 rules, of course, either. Well, I have a certain age now. I I'm the father of 7 kids. I lived abroad, all over the globe in all time zones. I experienced a tragic event some decades ago. I wrote some books. I have an insatiable curiosity. So Ted thought maybe I have some lessons which might be useful for you. And the first one we just saw, think for yourself. Okay, so the theme of today, beyond passion. And passion indeed is very important. And perseverance. With passion and perseverance, you have a lot more chance to succeed. And we all love the people in front of you, standing on stage, successful, proclaiming that if you really believe in yourself, you can achieve anything you want. If you're really passionate, nothing is impossible. Well, the thing is, I find it misleading. And I even find it mean. First of all, a long time ago I wrote, you just have to dare to do what's important to you. Now I chuckle a bit because for the most of us it's not that easy to find out. We all have our friends, pilots and doctors who from a very young age knew what they want to become, but the rest of us struggle, trial and error, walking into blind alleys, changing passions. So it's not that obvious to find out what your passion is. And I find it mean because it's unprovable. And the successful person standing here on stage is not the proof, because his or her success was due to so many other factors, and luck being one of them. And if you go up to them and you say, hey, but I have been working really hard for 5 years, etc., they can say, and I've heard them say it, well, then you really didn't try hard enough. Or then deep down, you're not convinced enough about your ability. But how do they know? How can we pass that judgment? Okay, sorry. So passion is not enough. So we need something more. And I think one of the things more we need is the capability to adapt and to have the courage to take a first step. So, for example, I have a pen here in my hands. I have it in my hand. I open my hand, and the pen falls to the ground. Why? Gravity. Very good. Without gravity, it would never fall. But it's only half of the story. The other half is me opening my hand. And too often in life, we act on things, try to influence things we cannot change. Fighting gravity is a waste of energy. But thinking about opening or not your hand, you can influence and spend energy there. Let's say you have a horrible boss. Trying to get him or her fired, waste of energy. Changing your own behavior to get a better relationship, have less friction, that is a good way to start. And if it doesn't work out in the end, you can always decide to leave. That's another thing you can control. So now let's say you want to change, you want to try out something new, you want to do new behavior. That can be scary. It can be awkward. You don't know what to do. You have to take a first step. Well, then I want you to realize, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite your fear. It's very important to you. You want to change something. It feels awkward, it feels scary, but you do it anyway because you want to do it. An example is me standing here today, my first TED Talk, but it was important. I wanted to be here. So taking a first step is an important part. To have courage to do that is important. But sometimes it's also very important to know when to stop. And I want to show you something.
Put some wild melon seeds into the hole. He's got to know what's in there. He reaches in, grabs a fistful, and now his hand's too big to come out. If he had the sense to drop the seeds, he could free his hand. Now he lets go when it's too late.
By the way, don't worry, they're not going to eat the monkey or feed him to the lions. It's in the Kalahari Desert and they use the monkey to guide them to water. So all the monkey has to do is to open his hand and let the seeds go and he's free. But he doesn't. Food is too important, you never let go of food. He cannot reassess the situation and think, well, at this particular moment, food is not that important. My freedom is more important. So he gets caught. And I think we all get the analogy, don't we? What are we holding in our hands? What are we keeping tight because we think it defines us, it's important to us, it's crucial. We've always done it this way. What are we afraid to let go? Something maybe we should do differently and become more free. I was working in this company, fast-moving consumer goods all over the world, doing fine, behaving like everybody expected from me. But at a certain moment, I started thinking, am I going to do this for the next 20 years? Do I keep following the herd? Am I going on automatic pilot to my pension? It really didn't feel right. But you're on this fast-moving train, successful, and I thought, well, I was afraid if I get off, will I ever be able to get up again? So the truth was, it took me quite a while, and at a certain moment I realized, hey, this is my life. If they don't want me back on, it's their problem. So to the surprise, I think, of many, I resigned, and the years afterwards, I think greatly enriched my life. For example, I would not have written the books. So life doesn't have a perfect script. We don't know what the script is. I don't know the consequences of my actions. I don't know the consequences of other people's actions. It's all too big. And that's why I've always been drawn to Taoism, the Eastern philosophy, summarizing it, go with the flow. It also says it's too big. Control is an illusion, so try to go with the flow. But then, not too long ago, I came across this sentence. Only dead fish go with the flow. And that resonated also, because, we are here now in this world. Whatever we do, we're acting on it anyways. Even if you decide to do nothing, it has consequences. So you might as well then do something which you think is important. Why do you want to have impact? Do it anyway. When does too much flexibility turn into cowardice and shying away from the things you think important? So I love the metaphor of skiing or snowboarding down a mountain through the trees. You're standing on top of this mountain. You see the trees below you, not a very clear path. You're on top of there, and just being fearless is not enough. Of course, you need to know how to ski or to snowboard. You have to be prepared. But staying on top of the mountain is not an option. At a certain moment, you have to go down. And to trust that whatever you encounter, you can dodge. Whatever problem you come across, you can solve. And for that, it's also important to keep speed, because then you can dodge, and it's also a lot more fun that way. So here we are now. We don't know who's going to become a king or a monkey. You don't know. But again, you have to take the leap. You have to go down. Yes, there is a risk you might become a monkey, maybe temporarily. But if you want to become a king, then you have to dare to be a monkey. So to conclude, be fearless, but not reckless. Be passionate, but stay flexible and open-minded. Be your own king.